then there we go.
Thanks so much.
Of course. I haven't used Zoom in a while, so I'm trying to figure out how to share my screen, but
Look on the, do you have a lower bar? It should say participants, chat, and then a green share screen.
there it is.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, then we can get started. So my name's Yvonne, and I want to present sort of an aha moment that I had when I was teaching Cultural Foundations of Education in Mallorca many years ago. And we had a lesson where the students were asked to create a lesson based on a real world issue to show diversity. And so what I did is I brought in a lot of resources for primary teachers, middle school and secondary. And I laid them out and I said, okay, you know, select your resources. And we talked about how this could work, and they could work with a partner, a group of 3. And I had for the primary teachers, I had books on families, so various books. So grandparents raising children, single parent homes, people who treat their pets as children, and there were also homosexual families with children. And all of these books were on the table, and the students selected them. And I had 2 students in the class who were gay who selected 2 works, and they went off to work together. And I went over to see them to see how they were doing. And I said, you know, how are things going? And they said to me, Yvonne, did you read these books? And I said, well, yeah. And I realized something was wrong. So I wanted to share that moment with you today, because I think it's really, it was enlightening for me to realize that when you're bringing in real life resources, that they have to be vetted very carefully. So I'm going to share my screen and it'll become more clear. 1 second. First get into my presentation. Sorry.
Take your time. I know how this feels.
Yeah, I just haven't been on Zoom in a while, so
No,
but here we go.
you're doing great.
Okay, there we go. So anyway, this is just what I explained here, that they were going to do this lesson on the family. And these are the 2 books that these 2 students selected. And we can assume that the purpose of the books is to teach, to entertain, and to normalize the idea of homosexual parenting. And I have the books here, but you can also see them online. They're actually free to view online. But I just wanted to share them with you today. This is the text from both of the books, and I'll give you a chance just to scan through this. The images in the books are very similar to what the words say, but I'll just give you a couple of minutes to, if you want to scan through and see what you think. Does anyone want to share any thoughts just based on the text alone? Hi, Alan. Yeah.
Hi. Well, I wonder what their thought processes are in genderizing the roles of their 2 parents. Like, how do you decide which is a daddy activity and which is a mommy activity? Do you reinforce cultural, historic stereotypes? Do you challenge them? Do you blend them? It's a fascinating thought process.
Mm-hmm. I think too, you see that as well in the images. They're a little bit harder to see on this slide, but on the first one, you could see that even the image of the children, it's you know, they're not stereotypical girl and boy necessarily.
Right,
So there
right.
were a lot of decisions made, but I wonder, you know, for me, I mean, obviously the the authors were well-intentioned, and I think I was well-intentioned in choosing the works, but I think that there's something going on with the text that becomes problematic that my students saw, and I think they were quite right. And if we look at it more closely, in the Mommy, Mama, and Me book, the themes are food, education, outdoor play, hygiene, and sleeping. There's one exclamation mark with bathing. The child is very passive, so picks me, rocks me, hugs me, lays me, and the voice is missing. The child does not really speak at all in the book, which in and of itself, I think would be, you probably wouldn't notice much about it, but because there was this comparative element, it started to come through that there is actually a lot of problems with these books. Because if we look at the boy, the themes are play, bake, sew, play, tea, play, rest, sleep. So this is a balance of, between the other one and this one. But there's a lot of action, 4 exclamation marks, all of them related to noise. The child is both active and passive. So he's getting help, but he's also acting on his own. And the child speaks 3 times. So the boy has a voice. And so when we compare them, we really do see the gender stereotypes coming through in the works. And I think your point is right, Alan. I think the question is it about the parents or is it about the children as well? Which activities and why this way? But I think this was for me the real aha moment, because, the intention was to show diversity. And yet, we have a work that actually kind of does the opposite. It goes back to stereotypes. And that's what I wanted to share today, just that, to emphasize the point that when we're bringing in resources, we have to vet them very carefully. I learned a lot from that experience. Since then, I really do look more carefully, or at least I think I want to say challenge the students to vet the sources carefully. And in the primary, that's not going to happen so much. So that would be more the teacher's responsibility. But I teach high school, in the high school classroom, we can put that back onto the students themselves to be looking at resources more carefully. But I think in terms of the primary selection, I think that was very interesting. Anyway, that's all I wanted to share. It was very short, but it was a really meaningful moment for me in teaching. And yeah, I wonder if you have anything else that you want to share with me or share with anyone. Alan, yeah? No?
Yvonne, sorry. Alan, do you want to say something? I just want to make a quick comment. I think it's so interesting that you focused on this topic. And I think we all have to be more critical when we are approaching any sort of topic, especially a controversial topic, or we're trying to teach kids about something that, I think our expectation is that any book that hits the shelves is going to be well-intentioned, is going to speak to the matter at hand. And there are so many times, and I have read these books, and I don't think I ever noticed those distinctions that you were making before. So that was really helpful for me to see. And it's a good reminder as an educator and as a parent to be critical about what we're viewing and reading.
Yeah, I was thinking, I just picking this topic up again just for today. I don't think that if I were a parent, I would share the books with my children, just after having looked at them more carefully. I mean, I understand the intentions, but I don't know. I feel like it is really gender stereotyped.
Yeah. I'm shocked almost, and really diving into it and looking. It is not at all what I would have expected.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's what we came to. It was a really wonderful teaching moment in Mallorca, because both the students too, I mean, they were so excited to see the books there, because they were gay, and it was a big issue that they were gay because they didn't, felt like they couldn't even express that in the classroom. It took a couple of days because we had other teachers there from the same school where that wasn't acceptable in the country, and these kinds of things. So it was a very sensitive topic anyway. And so they were thrilled to see these books there, and then thought, oh my gosh, what is this? So yeah, I don't know. I just thought, interesting moment. And that's all I have. Thanks for spending time with me.
Thanks, Yvonne, so much for being part of our day. We really appreciate it.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.